Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Welcome to Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy.
So summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and show products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and mini mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
Need a personal integrity booster shot? Your prescription is right here. Tune in with Eddie Frederick every week. Information is power.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
You're listening to Eddie Frederick, where good values make great radio.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Well, folks, wonderful. Welcome. No sticking today as we get right into things. Before you do, though, you're asked to remember to do what? Share, comment, like, love, react, interact as you normally do. For those of you on YouTube, do the same and hit the subscribe button so that you can get your notification readily. Just a short reminder, I have 2 pages on Facebook. One of them easy to follow so that you can, be notified with lives, etc. Now, just a reminder to all who missed last week's edition because of a technical glitch which precluded, Edification 291 from being broadcast live on YouTube. Remember, you can switch to Facebook. Good. Don't forget, I am the 8th day of the week. So I'm not one to not appear without giving you notice. So don't think I'm not on. I was properly socialized. I will give you notice that I will not be on. But as long as I have not given you notice, folks, just search, you must find. Okay, because I am the 8th day of the week, consistent. Our first segment for today, folks, can be considered Mindful Momentum, a podcast or webinar that will help you to cut through the noise and build a life that feels good on the inside without the temptation to be fake. You know the feeling. You're curled up on the couch at home, finally relaxing after a long day, mindlessly scrolling through your phone. Then you see it, a picture-perfect photo from a school friend on a yacht in the Mediterranean, or the Grenadian equivalent, having a perfect day at Spice Island Beach Resort, Silver Sands, or even Six Senses. Their skin is glowing. The water is impossibly blue. Then you swipe, and of course, it's a former colleague announcing that they've just closed a deal of a lifetime. You swipe again, and someone that you barely know is showing off a flawlessly curated charcuterie board, cutting board that is, in their spotless, sun-drenched kitchen. And that relaxing evening, it evaporates. You know why? Suddenly, you're hit with this little knot in your stomach. It's not quite anger. It's not quite sadness. It's a weird cocktail of insecurity, anxiety, and a nagging voice that whispers, my life should look more like that. Today, we're going to be tackling the feeling head on. We're talking about how too many of us are using the images we see on social media to register jealousy and envy of others' fake prosperity and illusions of doing well. And more importantly, we're going to learn how to stop it. As my mother used to say, how to cut it out. Do you remember when a certain local politician was big timing doing staycations at Westerhall Point in villas and even reporting to work from the staycation locations from time to time? Many of you may have been tempted to envy that lifestyle until their house of cards came tumbling down. Big in the church as if to portray themselves as Christian, but dishonest like all hell, while using their alleged faith, deep belief, to siphon the state. Oh, how they wish the good old days could return. Oh, how they wish those good old days could return. So let's be frank. Social media envy is the modern day plague. It's universal. And the first step of curing a plague is to understand how it spreads. The problem isn't just what we're looking at other people's highlights. No, the problem is that we are comparing our behind the scenes with their highlight reel. Goodly folks, the highlight reel is a total fake. a total fake. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful. You see, we have to understand the saga of the seamless Saturday. But before we do that, we have to understand, folks, that God made us the most intelligent of all living creatures. Yet for all, I have a dog here, the dog's smarter than a lot of people I know. My dog is smarter than a lot of people I know. And that is sad. Their brains are on fixed deposit. It is as if they have no sense. And it's so sad. So sad. But let's go back to this saga of the seamless Saturday. You're at home on a Saturday. You've done your chores. You're in a comfy clothes kind of thing, you know. Maybe there is a bit of mess. Nothing wrong with that. You feel fine, perfectly content. Then you go and you hit Instagram, boy. You see your friend Sarah or Frank. They've posted a series of photos. The first is with each of them with their partner, laughing over coffee and probably sushi at a trendy Six Senses or drinks at Silver Sands Beach House. And the caption, spontaneous Saturday dates are the best. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag highly favored. The next photo is of them at Pier 57 at a VIP fete. And that wasn't a stammer because you don't even know when to stop with the V now. Looking sophisticated and cool. The final story is a video of them at a rooftop party with a stunning view, dancing with a group of gorgeous, smiling friends. Now, what happens in your brain? The comparison engine kicks into overdrive. Why is my Saturday so boring? My relationship isn't that spontaneous and fun. I don't have a cool friend group like that. My life is so small. It's a pity I don't have money to do those things too. But here's what the algorithm doesn't show you. What you didn't see was the 45-minute argument that Sarah and her partner had in the car about where to park before that photo shoot. You didn't see the stress of getting ready, the pressure they felt to go to the gallery because they were invited and felt obligated. You didn't see that at the rooftop party, Sarah felt a bit anxious, spent 10 minutes in the bathroom, scrolling through someone else's feed. And they left after 20 minutes because they were actually forcing a lime and could not afford it. Her so-called seamless Saturday was, in reality, a stressful, expensive, and tiring day that was curated to look perfect, leaving them broke. Isn't that interesting? You compared your peaceful, authentic Saturday to her stressful, fictionalized one, and you lost. That's the illusion. Let's get into the psychology of why we do this. It's not because we're weak or stupid. It is because our brains are ancient hardware running a modern software called Instagram. We are wired for social comparison. For most of human history, checking out what the tribe next door was doing was a matter of survival. But now our tribe is 2,000 people platform, from every corner of our lives, all presenting their best possible selves 24/7. It's cognitively overwhelming. And this leads to what I call fake prosperity. Too many people following the mantra of faking it till they make it and not ever making it. This isn't just about fancy vacations. It's the illusion of perpetual success, happiness, and ease. It's an example time. Let's just get an example here. Meet Mark, the mogul. Mark is a connection on LinkedIn. Every day he posts about crushing it, grinding while others are sleeping, and another day in the CEO life. He shares slick graphics of his 7-figure business, and he even quotes Elon Musk. Isn't that an equation there that equals wannabe? Folks, you all have to become discerning. It's easy to look at Mark and feel like a slacker. But what's the reality? Often the 7-figure business is revenue, not profit. And after expenses, Mark might be taking home less than you. The CEO life might be him alone working from home in his underpants in his apartment, stressed out of his mind, facing immense pressure to maintain that very image. The grind is glorifying burnout. But you see, he's selling a dream because his business might literally depend on people believing that dream. You're not jealous of Mark's reality. You're jealous of his marketing. So how do we inoculate ourselves against this? How do we scroll without letting our self-worth spiral? I've got 3 frank and actionable strategies for you today. Become a social media detective, first and foremost. Don't just consume content passively. Get curious. Too many of you have lost your curiosity. When you see a post that triggers that envy pang within you, I want you to actively deconstruct it. Ask, what had to happen just outside the frame of this photo? The mess, the arguments, the debt, the photographer telling them to smile more naturally for the 15th time. Remind yourself, this is a single moment. It's not their entire day, let alone their entire life. No one posts the 3 a.m. panic attack or the frustrating Tuesday afternoon staff meeting. This isn't about being cynical. It's about being realistic. You're replacing a passive emotional reaction with an active intellectual one. But what's the next strategy? Curate your consumption. Don't just endure it. You are the boss of your feed. If an account consistently makes you feel bad about yourself, unfollow it. It doesn't have to be a personal thing. You can love your friend Sarah, but mute her stories for 30 days because her perfect weekends are toxic for your mental health. This isn't rude, it is self-care. Conversely, actively follow accounts that make you feel good. Follow people who are honest about their struggles. Follow accounts about hobbies that you enjoy. Fill your feed with things that inspire, educate, or genuinely entertain you, rather than those that make you feel inadequate. But the third strategy is very important. Conduct a reality check by celebrating your invisible wins. All of us have invisible wins, folks. We feel envious because we undervalue our own lives. So let's change the unit of measurement. At the end of each day, instead of scrolling, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. 1, what was a small win today? Some of the examples could be, I finally made that dentist appointment. I cooked a healthy meal. I had a good laugh with a coworker. I value what I still have in spite of all that I wished I had. Those are small wins, folks. Those are the invisible wins that actually make you a winner. Number 2, the number 2 question. What is something I have that someone might be envious of? Hello, you'd be surprised how many things you have that some other old crook, some dishonest person wish they had. A peaceful walk alone. A pet that adores you. a job that ends at 5 p.m. daily, a good night's sleep, a tidy living environment, close friends that you can bank on for reciprocity. You should be able to say, I consistently write checks for my needs that I know will never bounce. Hello? That is something someone might be envious of that you have. You see, this practice grounds you in the tangible, beautiful reality of your own life. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. Folks, I do things that are special and remind me constantly that I am not where I used to be in life and that I have grown tremendously. But I do not have to post them on social media to show off or for validation. My social media pages are related to who I am: a trainer, a people developer, a no nonsense person that no one can take and play the fool, a provocateur, and to be considered the 8th day of the week. That is, consistent in who I am, regardless of the reactions of others. Never fluff, never putting myself out there for acceptance. Hell to the no. I am as authentic as I can come. Full stop. You see, people may talk, but if you would only stop to take a critical look at who is talking, you would not waste your time to listen. So as we wrap up, I want you to remember this. Social media is too often used as a gallery, even though it is a mirror that shows you up as either wanting, craving acceptance, or authentic. Hooray to the authentics who use it to show their realness. Social media has become a collection of curated art projects, not a reflection of reality. When you feel that knot of envy, see it as a signal to look up from your phone and reconnect with the messy, imperfect, and genuinely beautiful life happening right in front of you and around you. Your life. You see, your worth is not measured in likes, comments, or the illusion of a seamless Saturday. It is measured in the quiet moments of contentment with the Saturday cook-up, the rice, okra, and saltfish. The resilience, in facing real challenges. And the authentic connections you have off screen. So the next time you pick up your phone, do it with intention. Be the detective, be the curator, and then put it down and go live your life that feels good to you, not just one that looks good to others, that you really and truly cannot afford. Because to live like that is to constantly force a line. Thank you for your attention to this mindful momentum. If anything resonated with you in this segment, please share it with a friend who might need to hear it. Let's build a community that values real momentum over fake prosperity. Social media has created jealous and envious behavior in people over fakeness and illusions. I'll see you on the next segment. So let's take a break here and we'll come right back with a lot more where this came from.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
To Summer Special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and mini mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks, wonderful. And of course, we have a lot more where that came from. For those of you just joining, I want to welcome you. For those of you who are already there, oh my God, it's so lovely to have you. I tell people already, I'm not here for numbers, I'm here for you. You like it, I give you. I deliver. Good. What is interesting is that it spreads thereafter. Welcome back. Our topic for today is a powerful one that benefits from a blend of sharp insight and, I dare say, relatable humor, presented in both a thought-provoking and entertaining manner, if I dare say so myself. You see, social media has created jealous and envious behavior in people over fakeness and illusions. That's the subject today. Good? But you see, there's something called a fakeness fallacy. Why your fake prosperity is fooling no one and killing your own joy. I once knew of this man who was highly admired by many, myself included. In fact, he portrays himself as living a Christian life as head of his family. His profession saw him rise, though meteorically, with speed because of political favors during the better part of the last 30 years. He managed to pretend well that he was to be respected. And for as long as he was able to portray this act as well as he had been able to, his real self was recently unmasked by a circumstance in his life that he himself agreed to, with an alleged preface of, "Make me whole and I will go." But this individual's ego today, with who he really is by virtue of the real fabric of the egotistically infused DNA within, has caused him to ventilate his authentic self that he can no longer hide, proving his employers totally correct that he is not to be trusted, especially in light of the sensitive position he once occupied. There are people who have seen the signed form of this individual requesting retirement, which was agreed to forthwith, and a hefty compensation package agreed to prior to his departure, only to see this so-called Christian today as this perceived upstandish citizen all over, making mawet on social media with a made-up story in an attempt to make him look good and his former employer look bad. But it is said that time is longer than twine, and in its fullness thereof, the truth effortlessly will ooze out for all who have eyes to see, and ears to hear. Could you imagine this idiot has reached to the point of believing his lies just because his employer is not of the ilk to put all documentation out there for the public to see? All I can say, the disappointing individual's persistence at dishonesty in the circumstances may just provoke an expose that he could never recover from in the court of public opinion that he's parading in all now. No man who properly requests retirement and received all his due, hototo, is ever known to be able to rewrite that script with all relevant evidence sealed in his personal file after departure. These are the kinds of Christians who turn off people from congregating in places of worship. They're just too bad and find it necessary to fake being good. Folks, I told you, prepare yourself. Things getting hot. As we all know, edification is produced to dissect modern madness and help you find a signal in the noise. So let's play a game. It's called Real, R-E-A-L, or Real, R-E-E-L. Picture this. A LinkedIn influencer posts a tearful video about his startup's painful, soul-crushing failure. The camera is perfectly aligned. The lighting is soft, and the angle, photogenic tear traces a path down his cheek. He talks about vulnerability and the grind. Real, R-E-A-L, or real, R-E-E-L. Or this, an Instagram model on a private jet, one hand on a glass of champagne and the other on her forehead, with the caption, "Ooh, so stressed and anxious right now. Hashtag mental health awareness." Real, R-E-A-L, or R-E-E-L, real. Oh God, so much fakeness now, it is just pissing me off. We all know the answer. It's almost all real, R-E-E-L, not R-E-A-L, but R-E-E-L, as in carefully crafted for the social media reel. You see, the statement that sparked today's conversation is this: social media has created jealous and envious behavior in people over fakeness and illusions. And we're going to dive deep into this. But we're not just going to wag our fingers and say fakeness is bad. Oh no. We're going to explore a fresh and frankly liberating perspective. The art of faking it on social media is a dead-end street. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot use it to successfully deceive discerning people for long. And the attempt is making everyone miserable, both the faker and the fooled. So you're advised, folks, to grab your favorite drink. Good? It's time to grab your favorite drink. And let's get into it. The illusion factory. Why people fake it. First, let's be clear. The desire to present a polished version of ourselves isn't new. Our grandparents put on their Sunday best for a family photo. What's new is the scale, the scope, and of course the stakes. Social media isn't a photo album. It has become a 24/7 performance stage. And backstage access is strictly forbidden. Could you imagine getting caught up on this full-time stage with absolutely no time left for you to actually progress in real life? Well, why do we do it? I have actually come up with 3 reasons. The currency of cool. That's the first reason. Likes, comments, and shares have become social currency. We've been conditioned to believe that a highly liked life is a highly valued life. It's a dopamine-driven economy, and fakeness often has a high exchange rate than mundane reality. How many people do you know who used to be and used to have, and who today are scrambling for likes on social media, having lost it all in real life? Call names. I will whistle. The second thing, the fear of missing out. You know, FOMO, the fear of missing out. When you're bombarded with images of everyone else's promotions, engagements, or even beach bodies, the pressure to prove you're also winning the game of life is immense. But the pressure is immense for the shallow. So you inflate your own scorecard. There are people we know who have to always tell you which organization is engaging them and their services. And then there are others who may be good at what they do, but they have anger issues and have lost it all because of their poor attitude, but find it necessary to beg acceptance by telling you how long they do what they do, even though they have nothing to show for it and are totally today all over scrambling for a living. When you see these people on social media, you will never think that if it were not for bad luck, they would have no luck at all. And then the third, the professional pose. Especially on platforms like LinkedIn, there is a perceived professional imperative. You're not just a person, you're a personal brand. And brands can't have bad days, can they? But here's where the humor kicks in. Let's look at some of the classic archetypes, the illusionists that we all know and well know. The LinkedIn luminary. This person's profile is a masterpiece of corporate jargon. They didn't just sell something, you know. They orchestrated a paradigm-shifting, revenue-generating event. So you see the language. And all of that to tell you they sell something. They're always hashtag humbled to be hashtag grateful, while hashtag crushing it. Their posts are 90% inspiration, 10% information, and 100% cringe. But what about the Instagram illusionist? Their life is a permanent vacation funded by a mysterious e-commerce business that never seems to require work. Every meal is a photo shoot. Every sunset is a spiritual awakening. And every relationship is a hashtag couples goals aesthetic. In fact, if they have a child, they become a pro mom. All of a sudden, one child, and they're a pro. Their biggest problem is which filter makes their latte look more artisanal. But the comedy writes itself. Beneath the laughter, there's a real cost. This performance creates a low-grade anxiety in all their envious and jealous followers. It makes the faker anxious to maintain the lie. And it makes the viewer anxious that their real life doesn't measure up. But let's look at a second area. the discerning detector. Why the jig is up? Why is the jig up? Now, here's the core of our fresh perspective. You might think you're getting away with it. You're not. Discerning people, oh boy. The kind of people you actually want to impress, see right through you. What about the people who know all about your kleptomaniac tendencies? Because we have a few people like that in our society. Klepto for days. But when you see images of them on Instagram and Facebook, oh man, are you telling me? What about those who know? They know you to be a liar and a fake since growing up. What about the people who know your level of ingratitude and total lack of and for appreciation? Think of it like a bad magic trick, folks. The first time you see it, you might be fooled. But once you see the seams, you can't unsee them. So what are the tells? What gives away the illusion? The uncanny valley of perfection. You see, real life is messy. It has smudges, awkward laughs, bad hair days. When a feed is 100% flawless, it enters the uncanny valley. It looks almost human, but perfection feels off. It triggers our subconscious spidey sense. We might not comment, but we think, something doesn't add up here, boy. What about the consistency paradox? No one is inspirational, successful, grateful, and zen 365 days a year. It's just not possible. It's emotionally and physically impossible. When someone feeds, someone's feed rather presents, I would say, this relentless upward trajectory. That's more than a red flag. That's a Navy red flag. And the great Shania Twain once said, that don't impress me much. It just makes me think you're a robot. But the humble brag hangover. This is the dead giveaway. So overwhelmed managing my 3 remote teams from my Bali villa. Hashtag CEO problems. Or I can't believe I spilled coffee on my new Prada bag. Hashtag clumsy girl. This is the illusionist's greatest weakness. They can't resist bragging, but they're trying to cloak it in a fake problem. Discerning people find this transparent and, frankly, a bit pathetic. So let me give you a concrete example. I know someone. Let's call him Dave the Disruptor. Dave's LinkedIn page is a shrine to his own genius. He's always building in public and failing forward. Then I met a former employee of his at a party, a little gathering. Within 5 minutes, I learned the real story. High turnover, delayed salaries, and a culture of fear he breeds in that place. Dave's public build was a house of cards, and everyone in his industry knew it. His illusion wasn't deceiving the discerning, it was making him a laughing stock. The people who matter, the smart hiring managers, the genuine potential partners and true friends, they have a highly tuned authenticity radar. And your filtered, curated, humble bragging facade is setting off all the alarms. Folks, let's just take a little look at our current Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell. No brag, very focused and consistently humble, came from nothing and does not think of himself as better than anyone, even though some people of his former profession think of him in that light, as if to project their own envy and jealousy for his success. onto him. The same and even worse is thrown at him now that he is in politics, making a damn success of it. And this political arena is a domain the despicable and miscreant many thought was their own alone. He's here to clean it up, notwithstanding the ready dispatch of all the soldiers of the gutter against him. He's not losing his composure, nor is he ruffled in any way by any of them, because none of them can match wit, nor can they match intellect and smarts with him. I am so eternally proud of our young Prime Minister, it isn't funny. But folks, let me share with you the antidote. Radical authenticity as the ultimate power move. So if faking it, good, is a losing strategy that breeds jealousy and envy, what's the alternative? It's not about posting your dirty laundry or trauma dumping online. No, it's about radical authenticity. And in a world of fakers, being authentically you is the most powerful, magnetic, and successful thing you can do. It is the ultimate power move. So here's how we do it. Embrace the and. You see, human beings are complex. You can be successful and struggling. You can be grateful and having a terrible day. Start showing both. Maybe your post is about a work win, but you add, and to be honest, this came after a week of self-doubt, terrible coffee, or no coffee at all. You see, that single sentence adds a layer of humanity that no filter can replicate. Folks, we have to learn to value connection over perception. Shift your goal. Instead of asking, how will this post make me look? Ask instead, will this post connect me with or help me to help someone? Share a lesson learned from a mistake. Recommend a colleague without being asked. Celebrate a small, unsexy win. This builds real trust, not a superficial impression. But we want you to become a curator of your real life. R-E-A-L, your real life. You see, your real life is happening off screen. The deep conversation with a friend, the satisfaction of finishing a book, the quiet joy of a walk without your phone. The more you invest in those moments, the less you care about curating a fake one online. Your envy will fade because you'll be too busy enjoying your actual non-digital and fluffy life. When you do this, a magical thing happens, folks. You stop attempting to deceive discerning people and you start attracting them instead. You attract real opportunities, real friendships, and real respect because people are desperate for the real thing. I had a friend visiting from the US recently for about 10 days here. Had a nice, neat little gathering at the villa at Egmont where they stayed. And you know what I noticed? Everybody who was actually in attendance had one thing in common. They don't go out. But when they heard who was going to be there, me included, because I heard who was going to be there, I was excited to go. I hadn't seen some of these people at all in a while. And do you know, all of us feel the same way. We just don't like to mix with fake people. And as a result, we prefer to stay home because Grenada has become a factory, an oversized factory for fake people. So as we bring this to a close, let's reframe the entire game. You see, social media's greatest illusion isn't the private jet or the perfect body. It's the illusion that you need an illusion to succeed. You want me to repeat that? It is the illusion that you need an illusion to succeed. Remember, it is not the boast that you are the greatest or you have absolutely nothing to back it up. You getting the message? Too many inauthentic people around need to remember, not all the people you grew up with and who really know you are dead. You see the jealousy and the envy we feel? It's a phantom pain for a life that we don't actually have. And the stress of maintaining a fake persona, oh, Jesus help you. It is a prison of your own making. People can tell when you shop for an extra hair or cheap-looking items of clothing at Walmart or Shein. In fact, what you parade effortlessly with pride reflects your current low level of development and total lack of consciousness, which discerning people can cut through. Trust me, this does not make you look good. The most rebellious, humorous, and successful thing you can do in this age of fakeness is to be unapologetically, discerningly, and strategically you. Stop trying to build an illusion you cannot support. Start building the life that is so genuinely good, you don't feel the need to prove it to anyone on a feed. I am sure you will thank me later after this resonates with you. Remember to share it with that friend whom you know need to hear this. Let's start a revolution of the real, R-E-A-L. So you see why I chose this topic today? I had a lot to talk about it. Social media has created jealous and envious behavior in people over fakeness and illusions. Folks, we have a lot more where that came from. So fasten your seatbelts and let's continue.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
So summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and mini mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more 03335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful. Let me just fix this and come right back to you. Right. So, folks, for those of you just joining, I'd like to welcome you. Welcome, welcome. Do the honorable thing. Hit that share button and let's get some more people in the room. Folks, what a pity so many of our people have what is called a cultural taste for poverty. According to Sam Adeyemi, really, it is the poverty that we have taste for more than prosperity. Folks, it is related, that on television recently, they played this video of some young people who wrote exams. They had to write the exams into the night. And in that video, you saw those young people holding candles and torchlights to write the exam. Sam Adeyemi said, in looking at this, he realized that if it was elsewhere, that was enough to ground that country. If we understood the implications, because what goes into a mind comes out in a life. You want to see what our country would look like 20 to 30 years down the road? 20 to 30 years down the road? That's it. Because that is what is going to be inside these kids. If that is normal for them, trust me, that is what is going to be normal. So we need to wonder, no need to wonder why, when one of them becomes a senator, governor, prime minister, an elected member of parliament, and they do not have empathy for poor people and instead appear to be taking advantage of them. If that is normal for me, why shouldn't it be normal for you? Now that I have my breakthrough, that's my breakthrough. God will give you yours one day. That's the attitude of this country right there. Good? But I'll tell you something. Then we have others who come from that situation and use the docility of the people that they rose from among to keep them at that level for all their lives, depending on them to vote for them always, while they do nothing at all to improve their lot while at the head. You see, there's a cultural taste for mediocrity, Sam said. There's the power cuts for long hours, and all of a sudden the power comes back and everyone shouts, oh, they're really trying. Trying to supply what? Darkness? I can go on and on where I see cultural taste for poverty, underdevelopment has produced in us. In the midst of all of this, something is to be noticed. But the person that God would use to deliver the Israelites from Egypt and take them to the promised land, you know what? You know what God did? He did not allow him to grow up in a slave camp. He organized for him to grow up in Pharaoh's palace. The person that would lead us out of mediocrity cannot be the one that is saying up Nepa because they brought power back after a short period or after short periods. No, it is the one that was exposed to something else other than poverty. So he or she can take us somewhere desirable because he or she has a different cultural taste. And that is what our problem in Grenada has been, especially from 1995 to 2022 for the most part. We allow people with a cultural taste for poverty and mediocrity to run amok. And we have to make sure that never happens again. And that is precisely why I believe Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who tasted massive success in his former legal profession, is the right man to lead the way and take us out of our inherent cultural taste for poverty, mediocrity, and vulnerability. But because people who hail from similar beginnings like him are not blessed with his level of commitment for leadership that empowers and develops people to help make the difference in their lives, we see them on the attack. This therefore begs the question, why so many people use fake profiles to represent the official opposition in Grenada, which is the den of the people with the cultural taste for poverty, and all the while project in real terms themselves as prospering, when in truth and in fact, they are far from ever being a success at anything in their lives, which plateaued a long time now with no hope at ever being a success at anything. Interestingly, that is precisely why they see politics as the last station of hope, that they stand a chance at redeeming themselves. And as long as our people remain asleep, these miscreants will always get through to come and contribute to more of the same. And hence we will make little to no progress under them. But thank God we are wiser than that. This is a very specific and pointed observation about Grenadian politics and society. It touches on themes of anonymity, political opposition, and psychology of perceived versus actual success. You see, let's break down the potential reasons behind this phenomenon. First, it is important to state that this analysis is based on common sociological and even political patterns. As I cannot access real-time data or the specific intentions of individuals in Grenada. Here is a breakdown of the why and the who behind the use of fake profiles by those projecting a false image of success. Why people use fake profiles to represent the opposition. The use of fake profiles or sock puppet accounts is a common tactic in political warfare worldwide, but it takes on specific nuances in a small, intimate society like Grenada. But you see, they're hiding behind that shield of anonymity, avoiding accountability and backlash. In a small island nation where everyone knows everyone, attaching your real name to harsh political criticism can have real-world consequences. It can affect business relationships, family ties, and social standing. A fake profile provides a safe cloak to hurl insults, accusations, critique without personal reprisal. You see, this in itself, it feeds into the deepening hypocritical landscape in which we find ourselves today, with a load of fake friendships which have become a norm. Fear of professional repercussions. You see, if the individual is a public servant, works for the government-linked company or entity, or has business dealings that could be jeopardized by being seen as anti-government, a fake profile is a perfect tool to separate their public persona from their political activities. You see, the inherently authentic person has no time for fakeness, and hence, since roughly 40 years now, I have been above board with my untamed frankness, regardless of the reactions of anyone. You see, even those who insist on operating with fake accounts do not want anyone to associate them with the wrong that they are doing. And so they insist on hiding behind a pseudonym or fake account to attempt to besmirch others. But you know what they always say? What Sally or Harry says about Jane or Dick says more about Sally or Harry than it does about Jane or Dick. They use fake accounts to amplify narratives, creating a false consensus. You see, a single person can create 5, 10, or even 20 fake profiles, all echoing the same talking point. This creates the illusion of a groundswell of public opinion against the government. It's a psychological tactic to make it seem like everyone is saying it, thereby legitimizing the critique. Unfortunately for those idiots engaged in this act locally, they are not with capacity enough to switch up their language, as they simply lack the skill, and anyone can see that they are all coming from the same source. Drowning in dissent. You see, these accounts can be used to swarm the social media pages of government officials, news outlets, or opposing voices, making it difficult for genuine discussion to take place. They attempt to bully and intimidate those with differing views into silence. It's easy to know who they are in real life, as their fake names, under the post, those posts with the same spirit as when they use their real accounts. It's sad, eh? They're so dotish. And the several fake accounts they operate by usually account for the limited response that they get under their very post. None of these work for them, as the vehement pushback that they receive helps to unmask them in real time, causing them to move from subject to subject with nothing sticking. So much so, they have started to recycle their nonsense. What about the freedom to escalate rhetoric, unleashing unfiltered attack? Under the veil of anonymity, people often say things they would never dare say in public or under their own name. The discourse can become more personal, more venomous, and less focused on policy and more on character assassination. This keyboard kind of warrior effect is potent and damaging to the political climate, as the responses to such elements are usually pungent, something they cannot handle. What about the psychology of projecting false success? This is the core of the question. Why do people who are not successful project an image of prosperity? Fake it till you make it. Compensation and cognitive dissonance. You see, this is a classic psychological defense mechanism. When there is a gap between a person's actual self and their reality of a plateaued life and their ideal self, the successful, influential person they wish to be, it creates a mental discomfort known as cognitive dissonance. To resolve this discomfort, they construct an online self that aligns with the ideal. By projecting prosperity, influence, and even success online, they can temporarily convince themselves and others that they have achieved that ideal, thereby soothing the pain of their actual decrepit circumstances. Call names, folks. I will whistle. You know who these people are. What about the noble lie justification? In their own minds, these individuals may see themselves as patriots, fighting a corrupt and incompetent government. They may believe that the ends justify the means. If they have to create a fake profile and inflate their own importance to wake people up or rescue the country, they will rationalize it as a necessary sacrifice for a greater good. Could you imagine these old gutter rats want to rescue country? You see, the deception is, in their view, in service of a higher truth. We see this every day when so many of them proceed to make asses of themselves. Call names, I will whistle. What about the quest for influence and relevance? In a small society, traditional avenues to influence and fame can be limited. Social media becomes a shortcut for relevance. By being a loud, constant critic of the government, even via a fake profile, they can gain a following, get likes and shares, and feel a sense of power and importance that is absent from their daily lives. They are somebody online, even if they are nobody in their offline reality. Call names, I will whistle. who are these people likely to be? While it's ought to be impossible to identify, specific individuals, they often fit into certain archetypes or phenotypes, especially in the context of a small nation. They blow their cover constantly because they have friends that are close to their enemies. The former official or aspirant, someone who once had a position of power, or the others who sought one and failed. You see, they could be even one who is staring down the barrel of a certain loss of what they currently have. They are now embittered and have an axe to grind. Their plateau is a fall from grace or a failure to achieve expected highlights. Call names, I will whistle. You see, the professional grumbler, an individual for whom political opposition is a core part of their identity. They may not have a concrete plan or policy themselves, but their entire worldview is built on being against the current administration. Their online activity is their primary hobby and source of purpose, as everything else has already failed for them. Call names, I shall whistle. You see, we also have to look at the linked business person, someone whose business is not doing well and who blames the government for their lack of success. They cannot speak out openly for fear of losing what little business they still have. So they resort to fake profiles to vent their frustrations and attack those they blame. Call names, I shall whistle. The diaspora element. Sometimes these profiles are run by Grenadians living abroad. They are disconnected from our day-to-day realities here in Grenada and on the ground, but are deeply emotionally invested. They may be projecting their own frustrations with their personal lives in their host country onto the Grenadian political landscape, using an idealized or outdated view of home as their battleground. It's quite obvious that the several that we have seen who fit this description thus far need local relevance to feel accomplished, as they may not have much going on for them out there, as they would love us to believe in here. Call names, I will whistle. You see, there's a sad irony to all of this. And the great irony, as astutely pointed out, is the gap between the projected image and the reality. The most vocal online critics, projecting an image of moral and intellectual superiority, are often those most stunted in their own personal and professional growth. Their no hope for personal success is channeled into a destructive rather than constructive political engagement. Instead of building their own lives, their communities, or proposing viable solutions, they invest their energy in tearing down others from the shadows. It is a performance of power that masks a deep-seated powerlessness, a cry for relevance from those who feel they have none. Social media has created jealous and envious behavior in people over fakeness and illusion. You see, this topic is a topic that Oprah Winfrey has spoken about frequently. And she has a very well-known definitive quote on the subject itself. You see, while she was having a discussion or discussing the concept in many of her interviews, the most direct and often cited quote comes from a 2017 interview with Vogue for her Life Class series. And you want to hear the exact quote? The reason I think, in spite of all the facilities people have access to, much unhappiness abound because people are looking at a version of someone else's life that they are assuming is the truth. And it's not. Social media has created a false sense of the way life is. And when you don't achieve that, you feel less than. It's the biggest cause of unhappiness in the world today. So I repeat, social media has created jealous and envious behaviors in people over fakeness and illusions. Let's take our final break and we'll come back with a lot more. In fact, a bit of a marathon for the last segment. So bear with me. So hold tight and let's do this.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
So summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and mini mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful. So we're on to our ultimate segment now, and it's home stretch. Agatha, I'm sorry you came late, but you know your place is to stand on the bench at the back of the class. You know, but it's lovely to have you. Just keep your ears open while you're standing in detention. Folks, you could imagine the 23rd of November, the crowd that will be up in Telescope. You could imagine. I want to believe it's going to be even bigger than Bosejo. You remember Bosejo's crowd on the 2-year mark? You could imagine what kind of crowd they're likely to have on the 23rd. That would be a message, a very, very serious message will be sent to all and sundry. Good. And those green mentality who happen to vote yellow. You know, we have a lot of people who are looking for something. They vote because they're looking for something. I tell you, that nasty habit, that subculture has to change. The government owes you nothing. Go and look for work. Construction people complaining, all contractors are complaining. They cannot find people to work. Go and look for work. They have a lot of work. When you go to certain business places, the attitude of people hostile. You know, it's like they scrape the bottom of the barrel to get these people to work for them. I went into a particular supermarket recently. You're saying good morning to the staff. They're watching you as if, what do he? Is old beast wearing clothes? It's sad. Where did we get this hostility from? But we had 1995 to 2022. Just anything goes. No proper leadership, no proper guidance, no exemplars in leadership. So people were just following, do what you want, anything, because people looking for vote. The more poor you are and more vulnerable you are, is the more insulated we would have been in office. So let chaos reign. And as a result, it has spilled over into the entire society. And you know what is interesting? I am not guilty of not speaking. I have always been speaking about it. Always been speaking about it. But you get a lot of people who, why you know she mouth coming to ask me now? But what we could do with these people? And they're just like the people themselves, you know, because they made no effort during the period, because largesse was sharing and they were getting. So all of a sudden they wake up today and it's as if, well, they just wake up and the problem just start. You understand what I'm saying? I tell you, I've been seeing posts on Facebook, especially with a lot of people. NDC must learn to help their own. They must learn to this, they must learn to that, they must learn to the other. Punish them. Don't vote for them next time because you didn't get what you want. They see voting for you is a transaction. You didn't get what you want. So go back in the wilderness. You were there already for 23 years. You look like you like it. So you could go back in it again. God, all you stupid. Anyhow, welcome back. The final segment. You see the Great Grenadian Parliamentary No-Show. Folks, this is Edification 292, where we don't just follow the politics, we follow the plot. So welcome back to you, political sleuths and detectives. Today, as we seek to conclude this edition, we're diving into the tale from the Spice Isle that has more twists and turns than a road through the Granditang forest. It's a story featuring high-stakes U.S. radar request, a parliamentary sitting with issues relating to its very notice to members, and an opposition that seems to have deployed a sudden collective allergy to the House of Representatives. Let's set the scene. The end of October. The parliament in Grenada was due to meet. On the agenda, important national business, including a request from the United States, that global superpower, to temporarily park some of its fancy radar equipment at our Maurice Bishop International Airport. A big deal, right? You would think so. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell was ready to address it. But then enter the leader of the opposition, the avowed Christian, who is famous for speaking on all sides of her mouth, as real Christians are not supposed to do. At the scheduled sitting, the opposition leader objected. Her reason? A classic. We did not get the documents. It's the political equivalent of the dog ate my homework. And you know what? The speaker, in a move of admirable patience, agreed. The session was adjourned. Fine. They said, we'll give you time to read. We'll reschedule. But here's where the plot thickens. No sooner than the session had been adjourned, members of the opposition were all over the airwaves and social media, not with thoughtful analysis, but with a bold declaration. We are tired of this disrespect. They even had a press conference, which could not garner much views, as Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell was hosting a town hall meeting somewhere else at the same time on matters of national development, which was a magnet for viewers. Interestingly, all over, we could have heard the definitive words ringing through the air from the opposition. When you call the next sitting to discuss this, we won't be there. So the question on every Grenadian's mind is why? Why would the elected representatives of the people behave with all the responsibility of a teenager ducking chores? Mind you, all parliamentary documents are circulated technologically by email. But if you seriously look at the opposition elements, any fool could see they are a collection of analogs in a digital time. We should all agree with the Prime Minister that each elected member of Parliament should be issued with a parliamentary email address hosted by a network of Parliament for the expressed purpose of doing the people's business only. As Hotmail, Yahoo, and even Gmail addresses can have limits in terms of the size of documents they have the capacity to receive. Therefore, even if documents are sent, they are not likely to be received by the intended recipients on Hotmail, Yahoo, or even Gmail addresses. If that document is full of pages, full of, oh, joke you're making, those little free accounts could never handle that. Let's expose the possibilities with the seriousness this farce deserves. You see the intellectual overload hypothesis? Are the issues simply too big, too complex for the opposition to handle? Are they beyond their current level, given the complexities of geopolitics? Is the concept of a radar too technologically advanced for their understanding? Perhaps they confuse the US request for a temporary radar placement with a request to host a temporary radio station, and they're still arguing over the playlist. Let's be real. This is supposed to be an opposition of seasoned operatives. They've been in government. They've dealt with international agreements before. The idea that the issue is above their capacity ought to be an insult to their own experience. This theory is less likely than finding nutmeg growing on a mango tree. But let's look at the salaried siesta syndrome. The favorite theory of the cynical voter. Are they just too lazy to do the people's work, content to collect their increased parliamentary salaries and perks while napping on the job? It's a compelling narrative. The image of an MP, feet up on the desk, snoring softly while the nation's business waits, is both hilarious and infuriating. But is it the whole truth? While their "we won't attend" pledge certainly paints a picture of profound disinterest, their public grandstanding suggests they're not lazy, they are calculated. This isn't laziness, it's political strategy, albeit a deeply irresponsible one, in keeping with their bankruptcy for ideas when it comes to challenging the youthful administration of Deacon Mitchell, made up of rookies, but all digitally inclined for this time, here, so, and now. The coincidental calendar catastrophe. And now for the main event. The excuses that have floated to the surface for the next sitting are pure political gold. First, the opposition leader herself. Her reason for potentially missing the rescheduled debate appeared to be some posted whatever, as if to make you feel well and interpret. I had an x-ray to do on that day. So, at facilities, mind you, that used to break down constantly when they were in government, and today, more reliable since the coming into office of the Deacon Mitchell administration. An x-ray? Now we wish her a clean bill of health, of course. But you have to admit the timing is suspiciously convenient. Is she getting an x-ray for her leg, her arm, or perhaps an x-ray of the very documents she claimed not to have received to see if they could be perused easier than her capacity can handle? Maybe, I don't know. You know, people who are consistently mired in Mawet will have a serious challenge when it comes to things that are meant for constructive digestion. Then we have another opposition MP whose reason for not attending, probably, that one had to catch a plane for personal reasons, maybe shopping. You can't make this up. So while the parliament is supposed to be debating a crucial matter of national security and international relations with the US, one of the supposedly key debaters will probably be in the US, apparently taking the concept of fact-finding to a whole new level. Maybe that one was going to the United Nations to file a complaint about not getting the meeting papers on time. I don't know. Could be. So let's cut through the spice-scented but lolly-tainted smoke. This isn't about intellectual capacity or pure laziness. This is high-stakes political theater. And the opposition is playing a dangerous game of chicken. Why? Their party is known to be included as part of the International Democrat Union, the IDU, of which the ruling Republican Party in the United States is integral. It is no secret that the opposition leader was on record as saying, play with Trump, all you play with Trump. Stupidness. Their strategy, folks, is clear. Create a crisis of legitimacy. By refusing to attend, they aim to attempt to delegitimize the process and the outcome. If the outcome has any repercussions for Grenada, their signatures or votes would be nowhere near. Their message is, this decision was made without proper debate because we weren't there to provide it. It's a preemptive strike to blame the government for rushing or even attracting whatever response from the process. Control the narrative. By publicly declaring their boycott, they shift the conversation away from the merits of the US raider request and on to the government's handling of parliamentary procedure. It's a classic look over there maneuver. The victim card. The we did not get the documents paints them as the aggrieved party, fighting for transparency against the bullying government, as they would like people to believe that this government is. The subsequent no-show is framed as righteous protest, not a dereliction of duty. The problem is, this theater has a very real ticket price, and the Grenadian people are the ones paying it. Delaying a decision on a US request isn't a game. It can affect bilateral relations, security cooperation, and Grenada's reputation as a reliable partner. The X-rays and the New York trips, those are just the comedic props of this tragedy. They are the tangible excuses that make the abstract political strategy look frankly ridiculous. So there you have it. The next time you hear an MP say they can't attend a sitting to debate the nation's future because they have a doctor's appointment or a plane to catch, remember that what you're really seeing. It's not a medical emergency or a travel itinerary. It's a calculated political stunt wrapped in the flimsiest of excuses and served with a side of utter disregard for the people who elected them. And see to it that they get the increased parliamentary salaries they are happy to collect of late, helping them to shop even better. You see, the people of Grenada deserve a debate, not a boycott. They deserve representatives who show up, not ones who show off. In the great theater of Grenadian politics, it seems the only thing getting exposed right now isn't the secret of US radar system, but the opposition's glaring lack of a credible script. Just as the people never forgot George Brizan, Dr. Francis Alexis, Finsley St. Louis, Kenny Lal Singh, and others for their regular walkouts of Parliament. And others for no shows, remember? By never electing them again. So the current Grenadian electorate must take note of the behavior of the current lot in opposition and treat them accordingly when that time comes around. You see, folks, social media has created jealous, envious behavior in people over fakeness and illusions. I am in, I am out, and I am gone. Thanks for joining. Continue to share. See you next week at the same time, same place for more extraordinary programming. Until then, stay safe, stay well, remain vigilant, and stay lifted. But all you do, stay focused. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in my name, Edward or Eddie Frederick. Subscribe, like, and share. Follow too, and be prepared to receive your mental multivitamins as directly as I deliver them. Folks, have a wonderful week. We're in the penultimate month of the year, 2025, a year that just seemed to fly. Let's see if we can make the rest of the year count for something. Take care of your wonderful selves. Until we meet again with Alive, have a wonderful week. Stay positive. Stay upbeat. And remember, it is forward, onward, and upward always. So take care of your wonderful selves. All the best.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This has been Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy.
So summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and Mini Mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
Need a personal integrity booster shot? Your prescription is right here. Tune in with Eddie Frederick every week. Information is power.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.